definitely still a queen in their own right is Kate Blanchett, and she is the star of Mrs. America, uh, Davi Waller's newest uh, miniseries for FX on Hulu about Phyllis Schlafly. It's a mouthful, and basically how her story and the story of the women's rights movement in the 1960s and into the 70s kind of came about at the same time, and how she's on the opposing side of all this. Very the first three episodes dropped on Hulu, and man, I like devoured these episodes. I was really enjoying the storytelling, and just really intrigued by the time period. And this is a time period that is talked about ad nauseum. Nixon right after 1969 and everything with that, and just like the Vietnam. There's just so much going on that's very fascinating. But this is a story that I feel like I haven't really seen depicted in TV and movies, and I think that's probably played a part into why I was so in on this. Did you have the same experience I did watching?
Yeah, man, absolutely. The talent of the production stands out, but even just I think where they're trying to take this with, like you said, like second wave feminism in the 70s, and just kind of centered around the Equal Rights Amendment, and which has been in the news a little more recently too. So you mean no real spoilers for this kind of stuff, but seeing, a lot of times when we talk about that stuff, it's really directly about the counterculture stuff, right? Vietnam and 69 and all that, right? But this is focusing on our lead character is against that and ultimately is going to succeed in a certain sense. And it's kind of about the bad guys, like Barry Goldwater is in the first one. And Barry Goldwater, despite being creamed by LBJ in the presidential election, basically formed the conservative playbook that we see today. So, and seeing Phyllis Schlafly's, role in helping mobilize that stuff. And from what I've gathered, it's going to, I think, be a little tougher to swallow as we watch more episodes. It's, I think it's really engaging. And like, obviously Kate Blanchett of all people being on TV, like, come on, right? Man, she's so good.
Yeah, she's fantastic, but the cast is stacked. I mean, you have Rose Byrne playing Gloria Steinem, and she's probably like second billing in this, but even the bit players, like you have Margot Martindale, who's just a fantastic character actor. You have John Slattery playing Mars, that skeezy senator. It's there's this person after person that throughout the cast, and the acting is top notch, the storytelling is great, and Blanchett, every time she's on screen, you're just mesmerized by her. And I think what I really love about the storytelling is it sets her up in the first like episode or two to be like this really smart figure who like almost feels like impenetrable in some senses. Like every time a challenge comes at her, you see her like parrying it away or logicking her way around it, or just like being the smartest person in the room. And then as she's kind of like moving up the ladder in terms of her foes, or her political foes in this sense, you start to kind of see that fall apart, and how there's really like these kind of cracks in her logic, and just kind of her thirst for hunger kind of sets her up to look like a fool at times, and to lose a lot of serious or a lot of her actual relationships, like especially with Sarah Paulson and the other friend there that I don't recall the actress's name, but I think it really, like the way it sets her up in the first two episodes, and then the third episode starts to really move that in a different direction. I was really intrigued by not only the political side of things, but also Mrs. Schlafly's personal life as well is pulling me in.
Right. Yeah, and I think like if you're watching this and maybe like didn't know the history, didn't look anything up, you'd see in the beginning how it sets up Phyllis to like she's kind of noticing the obvious biases against women of the time culturally, and the sentiments of men and within government and all that stuff, right? And you think, oh, maybe this will push her more to the left, more to the progressive side. But no, she's actually going to completely double down and only get even more invested in this, and I think ultimately gonna feel satisfied. Like she died a few years ago, but like the last book she published was like The Case for Trump. So it's like she was very happy with how she went about this. It's just kind of funny the way it presents it. Where you're like, really, that's what you decided? You're like, gonna double down on all the 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 understated sexism of the time? Okay, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
good
Yeah.
stuff.
Definitely good stuff. Looking forward to it. I think it's only 8 episodes, so I think they're going to be releasing one a week from now on. So we'll probably be finishing up late May if my math is
Yep.
right. But really looking forward to the rest of it.